Hello, Steve. Hello, Joe. It's time to game classy.
Bonjour, mon ami.
Buongiorno. Mon Capitan.
Yes.
Channeling some Q.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. John Delancey. He's
Good
gonna
old
die
John
soon.
Delancey. That's probably likely.
Yeah, I'm surprised not more people from Next Gen are dead.
I mean, a lot of them are. Well,
No,
I guess
none of them are.
the primary cast is like all alive.
Yeah, which is weird, right? Am I like,
Is it weird? I don't know.
Well, it went off the air in like '95, so that's almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, like Patrick Stewart's been like jacked and in good shape for like the past 40 years, so I mean, he's probably got another 10 years to go.
Yeah, I
No.
mean, probably, but I think we're also being very generous.
What? Patrick Stewart? No, dude, he's been in good shape for a really long time.
It's Hollywood, though. Like actors in general, you know, the amount of cocaine that the average actor ingests is.
I mean,
yeah,
I agree. I just don't think Patrick Stewart is a coke actor, to be honest.
Well, I mean, maybe not now, but in the past, it's all about your past, man.
It's possible.
Yeah, I should be one of those motivational speaker, like podcasters. It's just like what you did in your past, you have to make up for now in your present. So if you did cocaine in your past, man, you got to do like 10 push-ups for every crystal of cocaine you did. Right, Steve? Hey, Steve, bring up that statistic that I just saw on that. Could you bring it up?
Hey, hang on. Let me load up the Joe Rogan page.
I'm not. You don't gotta say Joe Rogan page. It's just that's what we're referencing.
My bad.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. That's what I gotta be. I gotta be one of those. Not they don't call them alt right. What are they? I believe
the not obvious version is they call them provocateurs.
But
because that's how they referred to that pedo Milo guy for like a really long time.
Yeah,
they called him a provocateur.
No, I'm thinking about more like what they call like
influencer. Influencer.
No, this is like a specific one to the right. Like I think it's like a men's right activist, but not that. Maybe that I don't know.
Oh, I mean, they always use stuff like that. Like they use like quote unquote gender critical or men's rights activists, that kind of shit.
Yeah, I did. But there's one in particular that I'm thinking of, and I can't think of what it is. So, but it's not a big deal. It's just we're making fun of these people,
yes,
so that they could get arrested in Romania. You know how hard? I'm gonna put this out there because we probably don't have any Romanian listeners. You know how hard it is to get arrested in Romania?
I mean, you probably have to do something as bad as human trafficking.
I mean, I guess, but you know, I don't know anything about Romania other than what I've seen on travel shows, like the great Rick Steves travel shows that you could watch on YouTube. And I could say that it probably to get arrested and not be able to buy your way out seems on the bit ridiculous side.
I think there's like a category of crimes that you can't buy your way out of, and there's like but there's also a threshold that changes based on how rich you are. So like example, like I'll use the topic du jour, being a pedo. Depending on how rich you are, there's a degree you can get to where you can buy yourself off.
Yeah, I think in reality that all crimes are essentially you could buy your way out if you just need enough money.
Right, but even then, there's I think there's still a threshold. Like, I mean, murder. Like, you can kill, I don't know, 49 people, but if you kill 50 people, that's just one too many. You can't buy your way out of that 50th kill.
So I think it's more about if it's a money crime or not. Because if you make a crime about money, you're not going to get out of that one because you're making other rich people mad. And
no. I'm talking about crimes against the peasants like us.
No, that doesn't matter.
If you commit a single crime against a person richer than you, you're fucked.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically what it comes down.
That's what ended Pharma Bro instantly.
Yeah. Well, like, that and the Wu-Tang album.
Yes.
You should stop using terms like Pharma Bro. Most of our listeners probably have no idea what that is.
Pharma Bro? Like, but that's what everyone called him.
I know, but no one knows who Martin Shkreli is anymore.
That's true.
Yeah, you gotta You're talking to old guys, so like your hip internet lingo is not
Well,
gonna.
if they Google Pharma Bro, they'll instantly see him.
Who's gonna Google anything nowadays? Ask Siri to do it.
Oh no, you know what? We need the chat GPT.
What if yeah, like you need the Alexa. You got to ask Alexa. Alexa, who's a Pharma Bro?
Yeah, so
And I'm
fine.
sure I may have activated at least one Alexa, and if I did, I'm super happy about that.
Perfect.
Yes. So let's talk some gaming, because this is Game Classy, the worst best gaming podcast on the planet, or the best worst podcast. I don't know which one.
Whatever you want. It's fine.
Yeah. Got to start marketing. I got to be more marketable.
Yeah, you know, we need to be streaming Pokemon pack openings if we want to be more marketable. That's
you know what? Actually, I saw the other day on a TikTok video. It was a person opening a baseball card pack from like the 1920s that was sealed, and I got really excited about that. I'm like, oh, this is something I've never seen before. Who the fuck wants to watch Pokemon? I'm gonna see if he's gonna get like a George Lefty Sumopoulos card.
A Bob Mackey.
Bob Mackey original. Bob Mackey was a dress designer, Steve.
What the fuck was the No. Bob Mackey. Isn't there a
Bob Mackey was the guy who designed most of Cher's dresses in the 1980s.
What the fuck is the line I'm thinking of? Millhouse says it in The Simpsons.
Yeah,
It's
well,
something
he does
Mackey.
say a Bob Mackey original, but that's when Bart gives him a suit jacket.
Very good, very good.
That was in the episode where Bart becomes Mr. Burns' heir.
Right. A Bob Mackey.
It's Kearns, you idiot. It's Kearns, stupid.
Man, I haven't watched The Simpsons in forever.
He read card good.
Me fail English? That impossible.
Yeah. That's why I always laugh at the joke right now where it's like the Twitter people say at the beginning of like around September, they're like, look, you're going to college for the first time. Go watch seasons 2 through 5 of The Simpsons just to, because your professor is going to at one point reference something, and it's going to kill him if you don't laugh. So just do that, you Zoomers.
That's funny.
Placate your Gen X millennial professors. All right, so let's we can, I guess the topic du jour, which just happened yesterday, is that Hasbro walked back the open gaming license completely at this point.
They didn't just walk it back, they folded completely. Yeah. There is absolutely no new open gaming license. Not only are they not doing a new open gaming license, they're doing the systems resource document for current edition, so 5th, to Creative Commons license.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is like, if you were invested in this in terms of like a versus thing, this is a complete victory. Yes. And I can only imagine how bad this PR disaster was for Wizards. Like, it must have been like unbelievable for them to have like not walked it back, but to actually like reverse and implement a Creative Commons. It's absurd. Like that this is like, I don't think I've seen a company eat this much crow ever.
You know what I think it is? I think that some of their biggest license holders, or the biggest people using like OGL, like some of the streamers, probably said they were going to walk or start talking shit about D&D.
Oh yeah,
which is probably what happened. Yeah, it's but as I was saying,
someone who was buttering their bread was like, "Hey, we're gonna fuck you up if you don't."
Yeah, because trust me, this isn't because they had some like some survey or bullshit like that. This isn't because they.
No. This was dollars and cents.
This was dollars and cents. This wasn't because the peasants who are.
But I mean, that's the only way. That's the only way us peasants can talk to corporations is dollars and cents.
Yes, but I'm saying it's not like you or I or one of the people who are online who are like, I really like D&D 5th because it's the only game I've ever played. It's not them, it's the people who are making money. But as I always say to those people who are invested, actually financially invested in the OGL, this is your own fucking fault for creating your entire infrastructure off of something you don't actually own.
Right. Well,
I mean, it is. It literally is. When you tie yourself to something that they could, at a whim, like Hasbro had no reason to do what they did. Well, they obviously had a reason, but they hadn't like they could have just said nah and just snapped their fingers and made it go away. But obviously, someone in the bean counter department was like, if you do this, line not go up, and they're like,
Yeah,
or
I don't know.
line might
I can't.
not
I
go
can't
up.
abide. I can't abide by that stance because that stance is on the side of the corp, and I can never. Be on the
No,
side.
I'm not saying that. Yes, it is on the side of the corp. Trust me. It's not on the side of the corp. It's just a realistic interpretation of it. Like, I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. I think open gaming license is great, but I'm just looking at it in a realism, in a realistic fashion. That's the nature of the beast. Am I not correct on that?
I mean but I mean that's existence. That means if you live, it's your fault.
Yes.
So-
Shit. No shit, Steve. If you do live, it is your fault. Like,
That's
how is
true.
that not true?
I guess you know what? Now that you pointed out, that is correct.
Yes, exactly. And I know people don't like hearing that because they are like, well, that's not good because that's not.
But
It's
no,
not.
it's true. If you
it's
live,
not
it is
about-
your fault.
It's not about good or bad. It is about just the existence in which we live. If you want to change this, guys, if you don't like that, this sounds like it's more very pro-corporate. Guess what you could do? You go over to the Hasbro Corporation with a guillotine and you pull the people out. Like, that's what you do.
That is true.
That's
That
the
is-
only
that is
way you can
accurate.
solve classism.
That's you're not wrong.
I'm like,
Yeah.
this is and this is
You got to
nothing
make the heads roll.
yeah, this has nothing to do with whether or not like OGL good, OGL bad. It's like, no, this is about rich people who want at a whim to make your life miserable because they can do that.
It's true. It is giving them some power.
I hope someday someone actually comments on a Game Classy thing where they're just like, man, they went to hardcore anarchists so quickly or so gradually that we didn't even notice. Another Simpsons reference.
It's good, but yeah, but so this is a big deal. Like this is
Yeah,
kind of
it
huge.
is.
Throwing that in the Creative Commons license, like that, like the thing that the reason that this is important, or rather I should say, because like their first response didn't matter. Their first response was like, okay, well, we're not going to change it. But later, this is the opposite of that. What they have done, they cannot walk back.
No.
Once something is in Creative Commons, you cannot walk it back. There's no way to walk it back. They can make a new edition, like they can make 6.0, which will not be in the Creative Commons license.
That's what I think
There's-
they're doing.
There's nothing to stop them from doing that. However, much like how the OGL created an entire ecosystem of games like Pathfinder and games essentially using a pre-5th edition rule set, the 5th edition rule set.
Pathfinder 1.0 and the Stargate RPG. Let's just be fair. Yeah.
Good old Stargate. But yeah, this cannot be walked back, which is that's huge. Like that is a very big deal.
Well, I mean, it can't be walked back and it can't be said back, but they could just do it on paper and just be like, "Hey, look, it happened." Wah, wah. Okay, Lastima. They could do
No.
whatever they want.
Sure, but I mean, like, oh, and I think there was like, I think the estimated, the other big thing, the other thing that really forced their hand was, I think, an absolute shit ton of people canceled their D&D Beyond. I think it was like 80,000 plus and counting, which is like, that's a massive drop.
Yeah, that and but you know what? I also blame the fans for using D&D Beyond. Get a book, read a book.
I like
plebs.
virtual tabletops. The problem with virtual tabletops for me is that none of them cater enough to my stupidity, which is my problem with virtual tabletops. And also like things that you'd think would be like fundamental basic features are insanely like. Have you ever used Roll20?
No, because I play
Okay.
with my friends.
So, well, I mean, I also play with friends, but I play online. So
I'm sorry. I'm gonna get so much shit from people who are listening. They're like, "Joe's such an asshole." I'm like, yeah.
I mean, I play with my friends too. I just play online.
We all get together and have a good time with a bowl of chips. We all we all sit underneath a big blanket and play.
I don't want to see people's faces when I play. That's gross.
Yeah, we get a big bowl of popcorn, watch some Top Gun. It's all good time.
I can make a bowl of popcorn on my own. I don't need to exist in meat space with other people to do that.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's what we are, man. We're a meat space when we meet.
Disagree. I will not be in the meat space. So, but anyway, so like Roll20. So here's one of the things that like this is insane. Like, so on Facebook right now, I could take a copy of a picture and paste it to you. Right?
Yes.
Like I could just be like, yeah, here's a picture of a butthole and I could send it to you. Yeah, you can't do that on Roll20. Like that thing that sounds like a super basic feature. No, you can't do that. You have to upload your picture in advance to the system, and then you have to use this like convoluted tool set to like send it to a person instead of just being like, yeah, everyone, this is what you see. It's like,
Yeah.
it really feels like a lot of these VTTs are designed by tech bros and not anyone who's actually like role played, because it's like, this is a basic feature that should exist. Why is it not in your fucking platform?
Because role playing is about a shared experience, being in the same room, drinking some Mountain Dews.
Disagree strongly, and that's
Rolling
that's been the
dice.
case for a super long time. Play by mail, play by post. That's been years before virtual tabletops. You are in the wrong.
Well,
sir.
yeah, but it's even still though. It's about a shared experience, Steve. It's about being together, and it's also about
Disagree.
not playing a fucking terrible edition of Dungeons and Dragons.
Now that I agree with.
I think that's what makes me most upset about this is like the fact that people are like defending to their life a terrible edition, and I say terrible as just as a hyperbole, but there are so many better fucking games out there.
They're absolutely true. See, now we've shifted. Now we're on the same page.
It's just it's like, why are you defending because you want to play your Tabaxi assassin? Like, screw that. Go play Call of Cthulhu. Go play GURPS. Go play.
Yeah, Call of Cthulhu's the jam.
What's the other one? With
Fate.
Yeah, go
Fate's-
Fate. That was actually
pretty
the
good.
exact one I was thinking of. Is
Yeah,
Fate.
Fate's
Go play
pretty good.
Fate.
There's play a 2D, play one of the 2D20 games. There are many.
Yeah, there are so many better games out there, and
Not
you know
wrong.
what? Yeah, and here's the thing too. All of that shit that's been going on with the creative I'm not going to go back to that. Make up your own fucking role playing game for Darkstalkers, the role playing game. I'm sure that
Yeah, that's
actually
cool,
already
too.
exists, but
I actually think the Darkstalkers RPG was planned to go with the Street Fighter one, but the Street Fighter one didn't do well, so they didn't do it.
yeah, I don't see how that could work as a role playing game. But whatever.
What, Darkstalkers?
No, Street Fighter.
Oh,
Like, are you just like a bunch of Street Fighters get like walking along, and then all of a sudden it's like you've been ambushed by the Triad?
So I assume, well, because I imagine it's like it's like any other RPG. Except you're playing, because I mean there is a storyline to Street Fighter. So like I imagine it's like it's just a bunch of like, you know, various fights that like are connected via like a meta plot. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a very entertaining RPG.
That's
to
what I'm
do-
saying.
to do
Yeah.
that. I
It
think it's
doesn't
how, you know,
actually feel like the game. That's the other thing is like, how's the game feel? How's the mouth feel of this game, Steve?
Yeah, because
Please
the
don't say
Street Fighter
mouthfeel.
the Street Fighter RPG was a White Wolf game. So like White Wolf I actually really like the storytelling system.
Wait. Stop. Street Fighter was a White Wolf game?
Yeah.
So hypothetically, in your Vampire the Masquerade game, Guile could show up.
No, you could use his character sheet. You could absolutely use his character because he's a White Wolf character.
I want because I'm sure though this is some local gaming talk right here, because you remember back in the early 2000s the Vampire the Masquerade players that would come out in Naperville, right? You heard about them?
There was a Naperville one. I was in the Lilacia Park one in Lamebard. But yeah, I remember the Naperville ones. There was also a group at COD.
Yeah. It was big. There was like a big LARPing community out here.
Yeah, there were several very active groups that didn't actually have a lot of cross pollination.
Yeah, and that's odd when you think about it. But I would love to have gone back in time, and while they're doing that, I'll come dressed as not M Bison. I'll come as Zangief with the little red shorts, and just come to like, I am here to play live action role playing for White Wolf game.
I'm here to spinning pile driver some vampires.
Just grab a vampire and spinning pile driver them.
Yeah,
And
pretty strong.
fear.
Yeah, the Darkstalkers one would kind of be more like just like, actually, you know what? You don't need a Darkstalkers RPG, because if you just play White Wolf, you're playing a Darkstalkers RPG, really.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of are.
Like, I mean, for the most part, like that's like that, like the lore and stuff of Darkstalkers is like, I mean, it's kind of like it really would just be White Wolf. Actually, you know what? It's really funny that I just had like a flashback. White Wolf actually licensed one of the Darkstalkers games. They made a World of Darkness one. I remember it was Vampire Saber World of Darkness. I'm gonna post this in the Discord. This was a big collab.
Magic and sorcery. They're back. From out of the gloom stalk your worst nightmares. Ghouls, zombies, werewolves, vampires. You can't be sure what lurks out there in the darkness of night.
I absolutely watched the shit out of that show.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I absolutely watched the shit out of that show when I was a kid.
Darkstalkers.
It's so bad. It's so fucking bad.
And
The Street Fighter one is also terrible.
Oh yeah, I remember. I watched the Street Fighter anime. I remember that.
The Street Fighter anime, the Street Fighter anime and the Darkstalkers anime are both pretty good. The movies, but the cartoons were both atrocious.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's switch gears. I did want to ask about The Menu. Did you finally watch it?
I did watch The Menu.
That was honestly one of my favorite movies of last year.
It was very good.
Yeah.
It was a back-to-back banger sesh because I watched Glass Onion, then I watched The Menu.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and I think and the funny thing is I really liked Glass Onion, but after watching The Menu, I was like, ooh, The Menu handled this topic much, much better than Glass Onion of rich people being stupid.
I agree.
Yeah. But I did absolutely adore The Menu. There was a lot of, I think the script could have had some tightening up because I think there was a lot of things that were like meh, but I think if they had tightened it up, it would be a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean maybe I think we're talking real close, maybe 8 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, or it was just slight tweaks to some of the characters, I think.
Yeah, it was really good though. I was a big fan.
Yeah, that movie gets the Game Classy seal of approval.
Yeah, I was completely surprised by how much I liked it too. I was just
that's why I told you I was like, go watch this fucking movie because you will like it.
It was real good. I actually looked up the director. I never heard of him before, but I guess he directed some Game of Thrones. He directed a Game of Thrones episode. Yeah, episodes.
He's a TV guy.
Yeah, sometimes the TV guys end up making dope movies.
Well, it's a very small, self-contained movie, and what I liked about it is that even though it was a small, self-contained space, not huge, not a lot of vista shots or anything like that, he directed the hell out of that set, and I love that about that movie. So I mean,
absolutely,
that's one of the things that you should really look for when you're watching that movie. Is just watch the fucking direction. It's amazing. Yeah,
the direction's really good. I enjoyed the pacing. The soundtrack's good. I know it's just a really good. It's just a very good film.
Yeah.
It's just a very good film, and you hate the right characters and you like the right characters, I think.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, skip 5 minutes ahead if you don't want to hear a spoiler about this movie, The Menu. And you really should, because I mean, even if it's spoiled, it's not terrible, but it's well, actually this would be a spoiler. So skip 5 minutes and no. So what I really liked about the movie is that everyone was unrepentant. Everyone at the end got exactly what was started at the beginning. Everyone got exactly what they deserved out of that movie. And I like the fact that even though Tinker Tailor Anya Joy tried to get out of and was trying to do something, right, to break what was going to happen, it still ended up going the way that it did. There was the bad guy decided not to, and he decided to keep going along with what he was doing, or he didn't even decide. He knew he was still going to do what he was going to do, but that little moment of respite that she gave him didn't change his mind. I liked that. He was he got a moment of enjoyment from it, but he was but I'm still going to do this.
Right. Well, I mean, he gave her an equivalent exchange. He was like, you gave me this, so I'm going to let you leave, which I was not going to do previously.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know about that, because he did say at the end, everyone was allowed to leave at any point. You're allowed to leave.
Did he? I didn't think
he did say that.
No.
He did at the end. He did say that, which I thought was weird. because he does.
I
yeah.
totally missed that. I'd
Yeah.
have to rewatch that because I didn't think he said.
Yeah.
I would think I remember that. Although you know what, the one character who might have been somewhat repentant in the very end was the shitbag, I guess, like main character who hangs himself.
Yeah. I think there was something that whatever he told him.
Yeah, whatever he said to him must have been fucking really intense.
But I love that because it's like I loved it because it was so and I don't know how to even describe it, but it was just so beautiful as a watcher to not hear what he says but see the outcome of what he says. So it leaves you wondering, but because of the way that the movie was done, you totally understand that it was probably worth it. Or not worth it, but it was totally justified.
Right. Oh, okay. No, I just checked it out. So he gives them all multiple options or multiple chances to leave.
Yeah.
But he also reveals that he has information on them that if they leave will go public. So
Yeah.
all of these people felt that their reputations were more important than their lives.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But that's that's what I just absolutely adore the movie. And I think that was less than 5 minutes.
Fantastic film. You started at 8:08, so
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So now we actually have a few minutes before the people who skip 5 minutes can come back. So we could say whatever we want about these
Nice.
people. Fucking idiots.
I'm gonna say that I don't know. I got
I'm gonna say
I'm still
Andrew-
looking at Darkstalkers pictures.
I'm saying Andrew Tate should be released
He should be released into a volcano.
into a volcano. There you go. Yeah, exactly. So, moving on. The Las Vegas Open is going on this weekend.
Yeah, we've seen some Warhammer previews.
Yeah, let's talk about the thing that you like first. They previewed the Seraphon, the new Lizardman.
Okay, so real quick, I know there was an Ask Joe and Steve about this, and since we're on the topic, yes, retractable wangs. They're lizards. Lizards dongs go inside their bodies, so that's why they don't have dicks flopping around. I just to answer that real quick.
Yes. And Steve is referring to the new chickens that the skinks are.
No, I'm referring to the new Saurus.
New Saurus, yeah.
Yeah, the new Saurus. The chicken.
Bold of you to think they have genitalia.
They do. They do.
I mean, this is a magic world. They're probably bred without genitalia, so that they don't reproduce. There's probably some mother lizard.
Well, actually, no. I mean, if we're like the literal lore, they come out of a pool of goo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They the eggs were all laid thousands of years ago, and they just come out of this glue.
Yeah, they come out of like spawning pools.
Yes, spawning pools.
Which actually, you know what? Maybe the spawning pools are just like a thing of like kind of gooey water that's full of jizz and eggs. Which maybe. But
I mean, we're also talking old world. This is for Age of Sigmar, so they're probably like Sigmar's butthole opens up and the lizard men come out.
I don't remember. Well, because I know they're in space. They're in space now with in Age of Sigmar. They're from stars, but I still think they come out of spawning pools.
Probably. I don't know.
I think they still come out of spawning pools, but they're in like whatever like extra dimensional space that they're
space.
I'm
sorry. Every time I hear space, I gotta think of Tim Curry.
Space. I'm going to the one place untouched by capitalism. Space. It's so fucking good.
Is that Command and Conquer 3?
Yeah, it's Command and Conquer. It's excellent. But yeah, no. So I love the new Lizardmen models. I'm a big fan of the cavalry. They're really cool. Yes, I mean they have likely prehistorically accurate raptors, which is dope. I love the new Slann. I mean, it's been how long? It has been so long. The people have needed a plastic Slann, and now
and it's a solid plastic Slann, and you could use that for the old world.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's perfect. It's accurate. In fact, almost all of the models for this release could hypothetically be used in the old world.
Yep, and that's something I'd actually when I looked at it, I thought about something. I think there's so Old World is a thing.
Yeah.
Obviously it's coming.
Yeah.
I have a feeling there is going to just be reused plastic kits with square bases. I think that they're like these Saurus are a perfect example. Like they're just going to release these Saurus with square bases in a box that's like says Old World on it.
Yeah, I mean, they may do. What if they did like a rehash of the 5th Ed box, and so you get the Saurus and a bunch of Bretonians?
That would be awesome, actually.
I know. I'm thinking about that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that would be pretty cool.
That'd be super dope.
Yeah, well, I knew they were reusing a lot of the old plastics, and maybe they might reuse some of the new ones. Only difference is I think it depends on the sprues, because don't they do like the textured bases on sprues now?
That is not universal.
Yeah, it's not.
There are some textured bases on sprues, some are not. It's like it's not a universal thing. It's some kits have it and some don't. So like I think there's going to be a clear, like obviously like they don't need to worry about anything that's like an Aegis Sigmar specific faction. So like OCR Bone Reapers don't have to care, Stormcast don't have to care. The majority, actually, I'd say a lot of the AOS figures would not, you couldn't reverse engineer them.
No. But
so yeah, I don't know.
And actually, now that I'm kind of when I'm seeing the Seraphon, and I'm seeing and I'm thinking about it, more than likely I would put maybe a 60 to 70% chance that the Old World is going to go like what's it called? War of the Ring. So the bases that have the circle slots.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think that's going to be an option because they did confirm there's going to be square bases.
But see, that's the thing, Steve. Those are square bases.
Oh, I was just thinking they'll just do both. They'll just have like you can have your model on a square base in this regiment thing, or they'll also do regiment sized trays with circles in it.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying now?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think it's great. I love the War of the Ring trays. I think they're awesome.
Yeah. They're a little hard to do. They're also a little hard to do with 3D printing. Just to let you know, they're not great
I could see that being tough.
It's only because of the thickness of the circle after they're being printed. It sometimes expands slightly so that the bases become a little too tight. So you have to like really kajigger them correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not a huge issue, but just something to think about. And also, they do take up a lot of resin. If you print them in resin, though, most people would just print them out in plastic. But it's like, why have ground beef when you can have steak?
I don't know. Lots of people eat hamburgers, man.
A perfect cheeseburger.
The perfect cheeseburger. That's right.
$9.99.
$9.99
with American cheese because it doesn't split.
And I'm gonna take it to go.
Yeah, I've. That's the one thing that made me super happy about that movie is when he said, with American cheese, of course, because it doesn't split. And I'm a big supporter of American cheese for melting purposes on food. And some people, people online give such shit about it. And it's like, you don't know. It's the perfect cheese for melting.
American cheese is the proper burger cheese. Like you can use other cheeses and they're fine. Like you want to do a slice of provolone, whatever, a slice of mozzarella, sure, whatever, that's fine. You can do that. It's not a proper cheeseburger. Like a proper cheeseburger is lettuce, onion, tomato, ketchup, mustard, American cheese, patty, bun.
Do all beef patty special sauce, onions, lettuce, cheese on a pickles on a sesame seed bun.
And pickles, yes, of course. You have to have you must have the pickles. That's an incredibly important part of the burger.
Yes, but you know what? People are just gonna, except for we're gonna have some. I don't know if we have any French listeners, but if they do, they'd be like, "Oh no, I have lost the will to listen to the game classique."
Why? Because
insult my cheese.
I would never insult French cheese. I love French cheese. I love
when you
cheeses.
choose American cheese for your cheeseburgers, you have insulted all of France.
That's not correct. It's just that is just not American cheese is the right cheese for a burger. Yeah. It just is.
I don't think a French person could even like stoop low enough to eat a cheeseburger.
Yeah, they would never.
Yeah,
they would never. They're too busy eating a small baguette with a big hunk and slice of brie
or garlic snails.
Yeah, I had snails once.
Yeah. I've never had snails, but I can tell you, I would probably eat it and just be like, meh.
No, literally. Like I can't. Like, was it good? Yeah. Was it bad? No. Would I eat it again? No. It's just like I don't know. It was like it was such a bizarre. Like my review would be like, I'm eating it.
Have you ever had? Are you an oyster fan or no?
I love oysters.
Okay, so that's a good comparison because I've always heard the comparison between snails and oysters. So
Yeah, I don't. I think the snail was a lot more on. It's like. It's a lot chewier than an oyster. It felt a little more like it was kind of like, you know what? If you went in between calamari and an oyster, you'd have yourself a snail.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I would not eat them. I mean, obviously I don't eat any meat anymore, but like still, it just it's just not. I definitely don't get it. After eating it, I definitely don't get it. That's it's just the same. It's the same thing after like eating. Most of the time after I eat anything that's considered like a fancy food or a gourmet food, I'm just kind of like, people just eat this because it's expensive.
It has gotten to that, but snails were obviously not eaten by the rich. Those were poor people food.
Oh yeah, I'd say it's the same. Yeah. It's the same exact story as lobster. Where like lobster was prison food.
Yeah.
That's what you fed to prisoners.
let's be to be fair, that trope is slightly skewed because what they would do is they would just take lobster and they would ground it up like shell and all, so the prisoners would get the shell as well.
True, but I mean that's a lot of excellent calcium that you would.
A lot of excellent calcium. All right, so yes, the Lizardmen release is coming out. They look like Lizardmen with the Bok Bok chickens. Yep,
they look fantastic. I like the Bok Bok chickens. Also, there's a couple new Marines. There's the Hugging Dreadnought.
Yeah, let's talk about the 40K stuff because I think that's what a lot of people are laughing the most about. So there is the Huggy Dreadnought.
I'm a fan of the Huggy Dreadnought. I don't see any issues with him. He's got 2 big claws, got multi-melter boobies, and he's got an autocannon on his head. I'm like, cool. That Dreadnought's cool.
But what people are really laughing at is the heavy intercessors.
Yeah, what are they called? They're called
like aggressors or something like that.
The Desolation Squad.
A Desolation Squad.
They have the choice of Castellan launcher. They have indirect fire Castellan launchers and a choice of super frag or super crack rocket launchers.
Yes. So they liked your rocket launcher so much that they added rockets on top of the rocket launcher. Like missiles to the rocket launcher.
There are rockets on top of the rockets.
Yes.
So I very much like them. I very much like those guns, and I like them very specifically because they look like guns right out of Quake 2.
Oh, Quake 2.
Yes, like I was like, why do I like those? I was like, they look so familiar to me. And I'm like, wait, they feel like a Quake 2 gun. So yeah, I think they're like Quake weapons. So the fact that they're like Quake weapons is pretty cool to me.
I just laugh at them because they kind of remind me of the most ridiculous Nerf guns that you would have seen in late era cool Nerf gun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like someone had decided at one point, I want to create a tactical nuke Nerf, and that's kind of what this is.
Yeah, no, that seems about right. Yeah, I like them. I think they're cool.
I mean, people, and the thing is people get so mad about it, and it's just like, you don't have to play them.
I mean, I don't know. I don't see why people are dragging them so bad. I mean, they're Marines with big ass guns. Like,
yes. Well, not only that, but they have rocket launchers that are belt fed.
The thing, you know what? So I was looking closely at that, and like, there seems to be 2 groups of projectiles on these guns. So there's an underslung thing.
Hold on to that thought because I got to end the cast and restart it. So hold on to it.
All right.
What kind of rockets you got on there?
Okay. So it appears that there are 2 components to these firearms. There's a top part, which appears to be the optional part, because there's one that's like a big single, or there's a big double rocket, and then there's another one that looks more like a Cyclone with like 4 little rockets.
Yeah.
However, underneath that, on both variants of the gun, there's a thing that kind of looks like a Gatling gun.
Yeah, like a Gatling rocket launcher.
And that's what the belt feed is going to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's still a belt-fed rocket launcher. Which...
What is it though? Like, I mean, I don't know what the thing underneath is.
Oh no, that's an ammo belt.
No. Like, because there looks like there's a barrel underneath. Maybe it's
those are rockets. Those got to be rockets.
They could be grenades.
Yeah,
It
maybe.
could be a belt fed. If they are grenades, if it's a belt fed grenade launcher, that's a real thing.
But I think you bring up an interesting point, Steve, is that I think most players right now are going to have to make a difficult choice. And are they a top or are they a bottom?
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
What will you do, Western man?
What will you do, Western man? Well, you have to make your decision of are you a top or are you a bottom? When it comes to the Space Marine Desolation Squad.
The Desolation Squad. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just because it's new models, so people bitch about them all the time.
You know what I want
Like-
to do? I think what we should do as Game Classy is anytime there is a new Games Workshop release, like every week we should create a commercial for Games Workshop so that they can play in the style of an 80s commercial.
Ooh.
So it's like we have like we pretend to be like two little kids playing, and it's like, I have the Space Marine Desolation Squad with their super missile. Oh no, that's totally gonna take out my Necron warrior cadre.
Look out, Marneus, cool guy! And you smash him into those cubes that they always had in those commercials.
Oh yeah, or we could do it in a sandbox so that they could fall over and poof, the big poof of sand.
Oh yeah. Oh, if they ever do any Armageddon stuff, we definitely got to do the sandbox. Like, look out, it's Maz Dragug Thraka. Don't worry, Commissar Yarick's on the case.
In his Bane blade, it just drops on the model.
Just drops the Bane blade on,
Oh.
on Gazgul.
But you know what? Oh no, he would drop the new Lehman Russ tank. Not Lehman Russ tank, the new Brogel Dorn tank, but it would be okay because there's a hole in the bottom.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that people are upset about that. It's really funny to me.
So this is another thing where I'm torn. On one hand, as a person who bases their tanks so you can't see the bottoms anyway, I don't care.
Right.
But on the other hand,
everyone should base their tanks. That's proper.
yes. Oh no, some people get very, very upset.
I know. I know they get upset with you, but they're absolutely wrong.
Yes.
They are absolutely wrong. Every miniature should be on a base.
Every miniature should be on a base. But there's also the part of me that's like a actual consumer, and I'm or like a modeler, I guess would be the case, where I'm just kind of like, okay, this is beyond kind of cheap at this point. I'm paying $100 for or whatever European Monopoly money is for this tank. I kind of wish it was a full kit.
Yeah,
Right,
I don't know. I don't feel strongly about my models not having details in places that are never going to be seen.
I mean, that's what I'm saying though, is like that's like a whole thing with modeling though, is that there's always going to be these little parts of the model that no one's ever going to see, and people, do work to make sure that they're done, like cockpits in a airplane kit.
Sure, but if that's the kind of detail you're looking for in your miniature, you should be buying model kits, not miniature wargaming pieces.
That's what I'm saying. I'm conflicted. I don't think that there is a part of me that like both parts of me lean in both directions.
I got you. Yeah, because like for me, if it was a model kit, that'd be absolutely inexcusable. But it's miniatures, so it doesn't matter. Like it needs to look good for its purpose, which is being on the table and looking cool.
No, you are absolutely correct in that, and I don't disagree. And if you put it on a base, no one's ever gonna see it.
Right. If you put it properly on a base, like you're supposed to.
Yes, you put it properly on a base like you're supposed to. That is correct.
Yep.
And it's a stupid looking tank anyway.
I mean, it just looks like a Lehman Russ.
It looks like a big Lehman Russ
with a cooler gun.
Yeah,
cooler
I
gun.
guess. I mean, there's lots of guns for Lehman Russes. Lemon.
The Lemon Russ.
That's the Russes. So they also have. So here's something. Here you want some like rumor digging. You want some rumor archaeology for me?
Sure.
So they are releasing that Vashtor the Archifane for with a dual kit with the Dark Angels.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm thinking is, the Arcs of Omen is the campaign that's going to lead up to the next edition of 40K, right? We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been announced yet, though, which I found interesting. I thought for sure it would have gotten launched, and the information would have gotten released at the LVO. It might happen at Adepticon, but I think Adepticon's a little close for close for it, because usually it's released in the summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it going to be Christmas release? I can't remember.
with it because it's 40K. There's a good shot it could be a Christmas release.
Well, if it gets announced at Adepticon, it will probably be a Christmas release, not the summer release.
Yeah,
But
that
they
would make
also
sense.
they also still haven't released a summer their big summer game yet, unless they're just waiting for 40K's new edition.
Yeah, they might just. I think they're probably just waiting for the new edition. To be honest,
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, I guess they announced the 30K box set at Adepticon, so that's that they got that. I think I'm not 100%. I don't remember. My brain has been shot
Yeah.
by pot
They
and
could-
age.
They could announce like a box set at Adepticon as easily as they could announce a new edition.
But what I'm thinking is that the new edition of 40K is going to be released not with but alongside Lionel Johnson coming back to the 40K universe. They're going to bring him back.
I could see that. Speaking of new models, I do really like Ursula, the big boss lady for Cadia. I think she's really cool.
Oh, Ursula Creed. his
Ursula
daughter.
Creed, very cool. I think that's a very cool kit.
But you can't have a woman leading the Imperial Guard.
Totally can. It's like, one of the coolest characters in the entire Horus Heresy was just an Imperial Guard lady, the one who was on the fucking the World Eaters ship. Yeah, and they're like the world. Yeah, the World Eaters were all afraid of her, and she's just a regular lady.
Yeah.
That was very cool. I'm a big fan of that character.
Well, now she's a demon, but that's a different story.
Now she is, but before she was just a regular fucking lady, and like they were all afraid of her.
She shot a World Eater in the head.
She did. She fucking kicked. She's a fucking badass. It's very cool.
But you can't tell that to 40K players. They get very mad about that.
Why? It's cool.
Well, and she's respected amongst 40K players because she is is a badass. So therefore, if a female takes on male traits, it's okay from the 40K players. Like
I think badassery is agender, in my opinion.
Yes, one would say that, but I think it's the Lady Macbeth thing, because in Lady Macbeth, in order to murder Duncan properly, she does ask the spirits of the wind to unsex her. So I think it all goes back to Shakespeare.
Well, that's unfortunate because Shakespeare sucks.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. Shakespeare's the worst.
Yeah, but does anything else ever have a part in a play where it's bear chases man off stage?
You might have something there.
That's right. No other modern play has a bear chasing someone off stage.
You might be right there.
Yes. So speaking of ladies, they are releasing the new Underworld's warband, and it's more sisters. They got the ones with the masks. I only bring this up because it's normally neither of us are playing Underworlds now. In fact, both of us are kind of shocked that Underworlds is still around.
Yeah, it is. It is surprising.
But
it really seemed like it was headed for the dustbin.
Yeah, retirement.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like that the leader of the warband kind of looks like Helebrand from the old Witch Elf range, Dark Elf range.
Yes,
I'm talking like
absolutely.
5th edition.
Same pose and everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I like that. I would almost buy it if I was playing Dark Elves or painting Dark Elves, just so I could use that to convert up a new Helebrand.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people use because in basically every case the Underworld's warband sucks ass in Age of Sigmar. Just kind of across the board, like it's and they're annoying to use on top of not being very good because they give them all different weapon profiles. They kind of went with the worst of all worlds, implementing them into Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
However, the models all make very good unit champions.
Yeah,
because they're completely visually distinct. They won't look like any of your other models. So like you've got a very easy way to be like, yep, there's my unit champion. Like it's like, yeah, that is clearly a unit champion.
And there are some cool. There's a cool like vampire warband that's being released for Warcry.
Yes, I actually had a full range on my responses because I was like these are dumb, and I was like, but this one's really cool. And then I was talking to Kevin about it, and he's like, yeah, like Warcry kind of has its own aesthetic. And I was like, you know what, you're right. And I was like, I guess they kind of fit in Warcry. Like they don't fit with any of the Age of Sigmar stuff, but they do fit on their own.
They look. Oh, go ahead.
The thing I don't like is that they seem to have they seem to have an inconsistent theme, because they're supposed to be like, cool, like Shaolin vampires,
Yeah.
which is sweet, but there's also like a really like badass looking werewolf dude.
Were hyena looking guy.
Yeah, he's very cool. He doesn't really fit the aesthetic. It seems like they kind of like didn't commit to one or the other. It's just like, it seems like you could have. Oh, and I really like the dude with the cloak and who has the bat on his shoulder. That guy's really cool. So I really like the were hyena. I really like the dude on the cloak. The other ones are kind of like, I don't really like their weapons.
Now, agree or disagree with me on this one? I think they look very Warmahorde.
I absolutely agree with that. They look like Scorn minis.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I just feel that they kind of look, because they half-assed both the vampire and the Shogun-esque way of looking at things, like the East Asian samurai style, without going full hog either way. It kind of ends up looking like a Warmahorde's mini.
They look literally like the Scorn, like Scorn faction models. That's absolutely correct. They look like Scorn.
Yeah.
And then the Khorne guys, I really like their champion. I think he's dope. I like his blood, his Fleshhound helmet and his weapons. He's very cool. And I also very much like the dude who's running on all fours. Yeah, that guy's awesome. The one with the two cleavers is cool, who also has the Khorne mask, and then the other ones are kind of like, I don't know. I don't have strong feelings about them because they're just models.
You like the Khorne masks, is what you like.
Yeah, the Khorne masks are
the blood not bloodhounds.
Fleshhound.
Yeah,
every model with a Fleshhound mask I like.
So yes, but you're also the guy that just, if you have a Space Marine without a helmet, you're going to get very upset. Like you always go helmeted option.
I do. I do the same for my Stormcast. Like it's how the only ones I won't do a helmet on is if they have like a very specific reason why they wouldn't have a helmet. Like Yndrasta, the angel chick from the base set. She's my only Stormcast miniature that doesn't have a helmet.
Yeah, I always like no helmet. I think painting faces is sometimes a nice refresher.
Yeah, I don't mind painting faces, but I don't. It doesn't feel right when there's
the mouth feels all off.
The mouth feels all off. Yeah, it's the mouth feels off.
And I did want to talk about the other big kind of releases. They're bringing back the Arbites.
Oh yeah, they're in the long arm of the law.
I am the law.
Yes, I am the law in Soul Shackle.
Yeah. Once again, rolling 2d10s on the Warhammer name generator, we have gotten Soul Shackle.
Soul Shackle. I like the Arbites a lot. I think they're cool, and they most importantly come with an awesome dog.
They do come with a good boy, or good girl, depending.
Yeah,
let's not assume the dog's gender.
It's whatever you want.
Yeah.
I mean, because Games Workshop isn't brave enough to sculpt genitals on the dog. Oh, I guess technically we'd have to ask the dog what the dog identifies as.
Yes, they're fucking cowards. That's what they are.
It's true. It's true. They could have given that dog a big fucking pair of hangers and referred to it in all of the content as her, and gotten people really mad.
Oh, that would have been great. But I do like on the Arbites models, there is a total S&M Arbite.
Oh yeah, he's got the handcuffs.
He's got a handcuff
mask
and a gimp mask.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he's got handcuffs and a gimp mask.
I'm like, finally, Games Workshop approaches the S&M sector, a market that they just they never really go through. But
I think they would have it cornered with the Sisters of Battle, but
you would think so. I like the aesthetic of the models. I don't like the paint jobs. I think that but they can't go the classic because they don't want to let people think it's Judge Dredd.
Yeah,
I mean, they don't own the rights to it.
Right. I mean, obviously, if you get them, you should just paint them like Judge Dredd.
Yes, absolutely. They should be painted like Judge Dredd.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can pick which style of Dredd you want. I personally would go with the green gloves. Classic. I'm a big fan of the green gloves style. The blue coat, or
the 2000 AD one. The old school one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that color scheme. I like that one a lot. But I mean, the black clothes isn't too bad. Like from the Dredd movie. Yeah, that's also valid. You could pick one. I would personally go with the classic.
You gonna go with the Stallone? You gonna go with Stallone, Judge Dredd?
You know, people give that movie a ton of shit. I found that film to be quite entertaining.
If you cut out the Rob Schneider, and I'm not usually one who's like, kowtows to people when they're saying like, it's you need you can't have Rob Schneider in there. It ruins the whole movie. I'm just like, the Rob Schneider stuff just doesn't work. That's the problem.
Yeah. He's super weird. There's actually I think there's a cut, if I remember correctly. Someone made a like a more serious cut, which took Rob Schneider out of that movie, and apparently people were like, "Wow, this movie's actually pretty good."
Yeah, if you had done that, and I think it would have worked.
Because I mean, I really like the part, like that's the like movies that I actually agree with you. I think Rob Schneider is actually the key to what makes that movie not great.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't like saying that though. For some odd reason, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Well, it's because you don't have a stance of like anti-brevity. Like I know there's a lot of people I know who fucking hate brevity in movies. Like they're like, it should be serious. Like you mean
levity, not brevity.
Levity. Yeah, sorry, brevity. Yes, brevity is quick and
yeah. I was
quick,
like, yes, I do want
levity.
my movies to be quick. I don't know what you're talking.
Yeah, no.
about.
We love brevity. We love brevity,
and we like levity in movies. It doesn't have to be like.
We also like levity. Yeah. Yes, but there is an anti-levity bias that a lot of people have, where they're like they're like, oh, I like the Lord of the Rings, but the parts where Gimli is fucking stupid, I hate it. He's like, oh, don't tell the elf, that's fucking dumb, and it's just like. Wow.
Yeah. Well, but the difference is that you have a movie like a movie like Judge Dredd can be funny because the original Judge Dredd is funny, but it's not funny in a ha ha kind of way. It's funny in a, oh, this is a satire on Thatcher England kind of way.
Yeah, it's absurd. It's absurdism funny because like it's like the dude where he's like Dredd, I put that guy under citizen's arrest and but he ran away, and Dredd's like, you're under arrest. Citizen's arrests are illegal.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right from the comic, and like that, and I think that the Stallone version did that pretty well.
Yeah. You get under arrest. I am the law.
I am
the law. Armando Sante.
I mean, yeah, Armando Sante's chewing the scenery so much in that movie.
Yeah, it's great.
He's great. But I mean, I also really like the Carl Urban one. I like both those movies. But yeah. I agree. I think it's Rob Schneider, and I say, but I think you feel bad because he's the comic relief, and like it. Your first instinct isn't like, oh, cut out the comic relief, because it's like, oh, that's dumb, because it's not always dumb. It just it feels weird. With Rob Schneider scenes in that movie. Actually, you could keep him in the one scene. In one scene, you could keep him. His introduction scene where he's in the
in the cargo plane, the prisoner transport.
Yeah, you could keep him there. Like that's fine. Like you do not need to worry about that. You could just kind of like remove the rest of it. Like it doesn't need to be like a weird buddy movie.
Yeah, no, I think that sounds pretty correct. Like you could have that one scene where it's like, this guy's commenting on a meta narrative of Judge Dredd and Stallone playing Judge Dredd, and it's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Then everything else you just take out, and you're just like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, obviously, Dredd is the superior film by like a fucking million miles.
Oh, yeah.
But I did like Judge Dredd. I didn't think it was the worst. But yeah, Dredd was excellent. I'd love to see more Dredd.
Yeah. I mean, and exactly. And I think, and most of the times I really do hate when people are like, this needs like an 8-episode mini series on HBO to really capture it. But, and I disagree with that, but because with most things that they say, like, we don't need a mini series of Harry Potter on HBO because we have Harry Potter movies. They're fine. We're done with it. We don't need
anything Harry Potter ever again.
Well, we don't need, the problem is you don't need every detail of a book, because books are different than movies. They're a different medium altogether, just like books are different than TV and TV is different than movies. They're all should be treated differently,
right?
And they're different interpretations of something.
And that's it's actually funny because I just recently watched the Junji Ito Maniac on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't bad, but there's something that's just so wholly lost in the conversion from his manga to anime. Like it's like,
no, you're right.
It's just lost. It's not there.
And then if you have, and here's another great example, a weird one. And now, have you started watching Last of Us? You're probably not, right?
No, I've heard it's good, but apparently it's like it's scene for scene the video game.
Exactly.
So I guess I've already seen it.
So like exactly. So like when a person is talking about, let's say when they're redoing or when they redid Beauty and the Beast, right? They redid Beauty and the Beast from the cartoon to a live action version, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now people were saying like, why would I watch the live action aspect? I've already watched the cartoon and it's a better thing. Right?
Yes. Well, I mean, the Disney movies are kind of a bad example because they make all those live action ones for copyright abuse purposes.
But even still, they do that because they're doing almost a shot for shot remake. Almost. I'm not saying a shot for shot remake, but they're doing like a scene for scene remake. It's basically a live action version of their cartoon. It's not like it's like a reimagining or anything like that. It's almost identical straight through. They're just having one is with live action, sort of. A lot of it's cartoony with the CG, and the other one is just all cartoon. So The Last of Us is almost the exact same thing, with the exception that on one hand you have a video game, and on the other hand you have a TV show. Right.
Well,
So
that video game's really that's the thing, because I think that's where the line gets blurred, is because that video game is very cinematic.
Exactly. So that's why it's able to translate well to it. But as I'm watching it, I'm kind of like, yeah, this is pretty fucking close. It'd
be like if you made you could easily make a movie out of Metal Gear Solid 4, the Guns of the Patriots. You can absolutely make a movie out of that. Like, no question. I mean, I think 6 hours of that game is video anyway. It's already mostly a movie. But yeah, I could see that. So depending on the game, I could easily see you just doing like, do it shot for shot. And I mean, I guess I don't have a personal I don't have a bias against that. It's and in terms of like what I would prefer to see and what the community at large prefer to see, it seems that everyone wants a scene for scene remake.
That's exactly it. And this is what I was going to get with that is that when you have something that's like scene for scene remake like that, you're not really filtering it through someone's eyes. So the way that the Last of Us video game is that was done through the director's eyes. That's what the director wanted you to see. So we're going to call the director John Smith. So that's what because I have no idea who it actually is in the video game, or Naughty Dog. That's what Naughty Dog wanted you to see for the video game. Now, when you adapt something from a book or from anything, you're filtering it through the lens of the director. So if Spielberg is going to adapt Jurassic Park, he's going to take Michael Crichton's view. Michael Crichton's view is the book. He's going to take that book and he's going to adapt it, filter it through his own eyes, and show you Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park.
Right.
So it's going to look different. It's going to feel different than the book, but they should hopefully parallel enough that you're like, okay, that's a good adaptation. So it's like if you created Jurassic Park based off, like if you just read the book, you would create your Jurassic Park based off that book, and it would probably look different than Spielberg's.
I've created my own franchise and IP, and it's called Billy and the Clonosaurus.
Billy and the Clonosaurus. So what I'm trying to get to is with The Last of Us, you're basically filtering it through a director who wants it to be exactly the same as the video game, which is weird. Now, most people want that. You're absolutely correct. And it's just like they want to see the same thing over and over and over again. So it's kind of, when I'm watching it, I'm like, this is great, but there's no art in it kind of thing. Like, and that art is that, what is this director trying to tell me to feel, as opposed to what the video game is trying to tell me. It's weird. I mean,
I guess it's the art. It's the art of the video game, right? It's the art of the video game being Xeroxed into another medium.
Yeah, and it's like, and when you Xerox something, you lose a little something.
Yeah, something will be lost. But
yeah,
I mean, I think it becomes like a percentage thing. Like, what is the percentage you've lost via the Xerox enough to ruin the experience?
Yeah.
And from what it sounds like, it's not, because it's been critically praised as well. Like, everyone seems to love it.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, and I think that's just because a lot of people don't play video games.
I think it's a solid point. I think there's a majority of the people watching shows probably never played the game.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like one of those. I'm not a few, but I'm one of those people who played the video game and watching the show. But I also just want a little bit more, in that I want I want to see the art. I want to see the filtering. I want to see this through the eyes of someone who has a vision.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying like this is kind of, just like I've already seen this.
Yeah, but see the thing, and I'm annoyed by people when it comes to like versions and stuff, because like perfect example, like the Resident Evil Netflix show. I watched the Resident Evil Netflix show. I actually liked the Resident Evil Netflix show. But like it was I can see why like someone who was a huge Resident Evil fan wouldn't like it, like by a lot, because it's like it's like why, like it's very much like, why is this called Resident Evil? And I do disagree with a lot of the ways that the show was presented, but there were some very cool moments in that show, for sure, and then there were some that were not good, but overall, like I appreciated the attempt, and I would have liked to have seen a season 2. I don't think it was as like, was it great? No. Was it amazing? No. I strictly would give it a solid 5 out of 10. Like I felt that it was very, very average overall. So it's just like yet another one of those things where people are like, it's the worst thing ever. And I'm like, no, it's really not. It's it's just, it was very mid.
Yeah. I'm with you. That's it's a weird
people
feeling.
hated it because it was this guy's idea. Like he's like, I want to do this story in the Resident Evil world where all of the games are canon, but our part of the story is a different thing. And like they even mentioned Wesker, because Wesker's in the show, like which like by Resident Evil canon he shouldn't be, but they give a pretty good reason why he's in the show at the end. You're like, oh, okay, that makes total, like if you're a Resident Evil fan, you're like, oh, okay, makes total sense, because they actually reference in the show like, oh, that yeah, Wesker, he died in a volcano, which happens in Resident Evil 5 because Chris Redfield punches a boulder. That's the only two. People were getting on the show about like things that were like ridiculous or like very silly, and I'm like, did any of you play the games? Like Chris Redfield punches a boulder that's like 6 times the size of a human body, like into the air. Like he punches it with a fist. Chris Redfield's not superpowered. He's just a dude who's jacked. Like they're silly. Like some of the stuff in those games are silly. Like I don't know. It just seems weird. So like I would rather see versions of like that, to be honest. Like in my opinion, I would much rather see people's takes on stuff than
and that's kind of what I was getting to, is that we need to see it through someone's take, which is their art, as opposed to a one for one. And it's not, I'm not complaining. It's a very good show and it does a very good, and I don't like that it's on Sunday nights because it makes my sleep a little wonky on Sunday night to wake up like, because I got to get up from work on Monday morning, and so I don't want to like toss and turn because I'm thinking about getting infected by a fungus.
Yes, the cordyceps fungus.
Yes. So I think we've actually talked about all the Ask Joe and Steve questions for this week. There was one more. Someone was asking about coffee table rule books. So Captain Rufus asks, here, I'll give one for this week. Coffee table rule books. We get to pay more for a large, pretty book, which are both inconvenient to bring to games and obnoxiously ornate, or sometimes ridiculously hard to read and reference, yet we get to pay 2 to 3 what actual coffee table type books cost. What's our take? Is it because nobody actually plays anything and we are suckers for pretty looking books? They are difficult to scan, print, or use in PDFs on most devices.
Okay, my take is very my take is I like Kings of War. My take is I think Kings of War does it right. I think Kings of War, they do every version that you could want of a book. So if you want the big, nice hardcover, yeah, you can get that. If you want the very useful soft cover, yeah, you can get that. Do you want like a pocket reference version? Yeah, you can get that. And you can get a PDF version of all the above. Like that's the way to do it. Like in my opinion, like that is the way to do it.
I was thinking the exact same thing with the Horus Heresy rule books. So Horus Heresy right now, in order to play the game, you need 2 massive rule books. You got the actual core rule book and like your army that you're playing's book. So it's only 2 books, but those 2 books are both massive. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about how nice it would be if they did like what they used to do and did like a pocket rule book just for the core rules. Take out all the other shit, just have the core rules in this little pocket book, and that's perfect, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, they do give you some nice reference sheets, but when your reference sheet is still like 5 reference sheets long, it's you maybe have a little bit, your rules are a little bit complicated.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the of give me the options. I want the options.
Yeah. And I'm with you on it. I think that's absolutely right. There needs to be smaller rule books for games you're going to play.
Yeah, give me the options. And the other thing I really like is this is not exactly what I would prefer, but like the Conan RPG, they have a rule book, obviously, and then they also have a player's manual. Now,
Steve, I'm going to correct you right there. They had a rule book.
It's still available. It's not had yet. It's not had yet. It got until the end of the month. Speaking of which, I did jump on the sale, and I now have a complete Conan 2D20 collection.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have everything. I have absolutely everything they've made for Conan 2D20.
I wish you would have told me. I would have taken a look at it. I didn't know that the sale
it's still going. It's still going.
Oh,
it is still going. So
let me see what they got. Anyway, keep going. Keep talking.
So they have a player's handbook, and the player's handbook is not technically an additional book. Like the Dungeons and Dragons, where there's the Dungeon Master's Guide and then there's the Player's Guide. It's not like that. What the Player's Manual is it's the stuff you need as a player from the main rule book, and it's half the price of the rule book because it's just the stuff you need to play. So because it's just the stuff you need to play, it's cheaper. It's made for people who are playing it. So that's what I want to see from miniatures games as well. I'd love to see like a gamer version. So like example, I'll just use Age of Sigmar. Age of Sigmar is not the best example because so much of the rules are in the app, but just for the sake of, everyone knows or just whatever. It's like fucking Warhammer. You could do your Warhammer, your big ass, thick, fat rule book. Like, bam, this is your rule book. It has all the shit in it. It's got the lore, the painting, blah, 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 blah. But then I want a smaller spiral bound so I can lay it flat. Kind of like how they did the new General's Handbook.
Yeah.
I want that with the critical rules. Like just the rules of play. Give me just the rules of play in that little thing. Because if I'm going to reference it, I want to be able to flip through it fast and give me those built-in book tabs. Which like combat magic, battle, combat resolution, whatever, and so I can flip to the section I need as fast as possible, and it lays flat on the board, and it's smaller, so it's portable. That's what I want. And on a company, it's funny too, because like on a company standpoint, you're gonna make more money the more books you offer.
Ah, nice. And yeah, you're right. You're right.
It just is like it just makes sense to me. Like.
Yeah. My only thing is that sometimes with the deluxe books, which I kind of like, but it depends. If they don't offer me the deluxe book at a, in the rule book and in the box or something like that, I'm probably not going to buy it separately. That's like a D&D thing with me. I never buy the deluxe editions, but I always buy the regular editions. But D&D also has fairly readable books. Those books are not difficult to bring to a game. But like Warhammer, on the other hand, it's like the only reason I have any of the deluxe books is because I got them either free or cheaply in the secondary market.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the slipcases. I like the slipcase stuff where it's like you get all 3 in one shot. Like
I do like that. I like those too. But I usually have to come late to those because if you're like a FOMO guy like myself, I usually will buy them when they come out, so it doesn't have the slipcase.
Right. Yeah. Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So we're getting to the end here. I just wanted to. We don't have anything other big and pressing, do we?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. All right, so go to the Game Classy Facebook page. It's the best way to get the link to our Discord, which is where we're mostly active nowadays.
Yeah, it's pretty popping in there.
It's pretty popping. Got people talk about stuff, yelling about our opinions. It's all good.
It's good. Yeah. I mean that's what Discord's for.
Yeah,
and you know what? I haven't had to ban anyone, which is nice.
Yeah, not yet, at least. I mean, that's going to happen sooner or later. Someone's going to be posting lolly Nazi stuff. So,
I certainly hope not. But I mean, I will instantly ban them if they do.
Yes, it's the ban. Yep. I've never actually banned anyone from online in my life. I've unfriended people on Facebook, but that's about as close as it gets.
I've had to ban people from a Discord once. They got extremely out of hand, and I don't do warnings because I'm like, yeah, you've shown your colors, you're gone. Like it's just not it was not a very it was actually someone I respected, which was unfortunate because I was just like, wow, you're actually a huge piece of shit. I told him that and banned him.
All right, so yeah, you can then you get the link to our Discord. If you don't use Discord, I would suggest trying it. It's actually kind of fun. We have a wide variety of things that we talk about, including asking questions for us for the podcast, which gives us some free content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've tried to make channels. I mean, if anyone has any like feedback suggestions, feel free to throw it in general if you want.
Yeah,
if there's a channel you're missing.
Let's get rid of some of this anime bullshit.
Absolutely not. There is a Weebout channel for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know if I feel comfortable being in a same server as something that has anime in it.
Well, I'm sorry. That is an unfortunate aspect. That's just the name of the game, my friend.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna try and be a little more active on it. I pop in like once or twice a day just to like see things. And
well, you have your own channel. You have the 3D printing channel.
I do have a 3D printing channel, which I help out with. I do a lot of the 3D printing stuff. So aside from the Discord, if you do want to check out our stuff, you could also check out my stuff at Game Classy Joe on Instagram. That's where I post most of my minis because I need that constant feedback of the up arrows. I need up arrows, Steve.
You gotta have the up arrows. Oh, you know what? Speaking of the Discord, dude, those fucking Empire ogres, those are fucking dope as shit.
The plastic ones from Atlantic War Games?
Yeah, what the
nice.
Those are dope. I had never seen those before. I was like, what the hell? I thought
they're relatively new. They haven't been out that long.
Yeah, of course, and it was funny because like I thought the Discord had the full conversation that I thought of because I was like when I saw it, I was like, wait, since when does War Games Atlantic make good models?
No, they kind of got their shit aligned.
They certainly did. I was very impressed. I think those are awesome. If I ever do that Conquisto Ogre army, I'll definitely grab a unit of those.
Conquisto Ogres.
Yeah, the Conquisto Ogres from Titan's Forge. I mean, I would need you to I would need you to 3D print it for me because I ain't buying a 3D printer. But
that's right, and I would do that.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So aside from that, Steve, until next week.
Next week? Are we doing
or 2 weeks? Sorry, until next cast.
Until next cast. Watch Junji Ito Maniac on Netflix and tell me what you think.
This Netflix show is made for me.
No one's ever had the balls to animate that, and I hope they never do.
Maybe someday. They make a shot-for-shot remake.
I mean, it's not. I will say it's not impossible. I just don't trust anyone to do it. Although we'll see. The Adult Swim interpretation of Uzumaki, if it ever gets out of production hell, looks like it might be the one.
Dur.
Dur.
Later.
Later.
Game Classy.